Fendant Crusader here, and welcome to part 17. I'm pleased to say that she's alive, and so this episode is all about bolting parts onto the engine and getting the radiator on and sorting the starter motor out and several bits and pieces like that in order to get it together to make it so she'll run. And all's gone pretty good, to be fair. So yeah, sit back and enjoy. And part 17, I never would have thought it'd been this many, but yeah, sit back and enjoy, and we'll catch you later. Right then, well, what a bloody day. Over the blooming hailstones and the blooming wind and everything else. So it's just as well, at least it's given me a day in the shed, in the workshop. So right, we've got the fan on, and the belt, and the dynamo. So it's all bolted up and done. The bottom hose is all on there now, all Jubilee clipped up. Just see it in there. So it's all looking pretty, the pulley's on there, look. And we've done a bit more painting, so we've got the dome revamped. It was all brazed on the other blooming pipe, and I've unpicked it all and made it the way it should be with a clip. And there's my new standpipe, and the bloody compressor's just struck up again. But and then that'll go with the air cleaner, which you've already seen all painted. So that's where we're at right at the minute. Just to let you know, we're keeping busy. That's right, and I did the injector pipes, look. I'll just get the torch. Yeah, so I just satin black the injector pipes just to keep them nice. They're remanufactured because obviously my injectors on this are straight out, whereas the L4 would have been at an angle about there. So of course these are which way is it? Yeah, these are a different size. They're smaller to what the L4 was, so I've had to change the nuts in order to because they're bigger and they're the same both ends, so I've had to put smaller nuts on, which was on the 4270 pipes. But of course, getting the olives off and changing them and buggering about is a work of art in itself. But anyway, so to progress forward now then, I've just got to bolt my oil filter on, make a gasket and bolt that on. I've got to make a plate to put over that, because the plate is missing altogether. And just having thought about it, I've got another pump. I'll have a look, see if it's got one on, but if it hasn't, I'll have to make one. And I suppose I ought to paint that blue pipe, don't I? Look a bit silly blue with the rest of it being green. I'll probably paint it silver, same as that one. So really, my son-in-law's here lining the container out, and so while he's here tonight, I'll give him to give me a lift with that, put it back on here, and get it attached into there, and we're not getting far away from a start. I'm not going to put the tank on. I'm just going to fill it up with a drop of diesel, put a rubber pipe on here and a funnel or whatever, and just put a little drop of diesel in, and attach the battery direct to the starter from off the floor, and just see if we can get it to fire. Once I know it runs, then that's it. I'll just switch it off, and we know we're good to go to put the tank on and all the bits, and not going to be in our way because we know it goes. So that's where I am at the minute. So I'll get the starter painted because it's blue. Get it nice like that, and then we're heading that way. Of course, I've got a sump plate to put on, so I can put the oil in. But yeah, I mean, we're not far away. By the time this week's finished, will be on it. Right, so there's another little job here. When the starter was on the L4, it always leaked oil. And you get these starters for dry bell housings and others for wet bell housings. Well, this one's a wet bell housing, and the L4 was a wet bell housing, but of course it's got no seal in the end of it. It's where the Bendix comes out of, and it should have a seal in there. And I've done one of these before, and I've just got to bore it out to fit the seal. And there's a lot of these starters around with no seals in, and you know, you can use them for a while and get away with it, but when you look at the state, although it's nice and flat, the armature's in good order, but it's just ducky, you know, like, how can I put it, oil that's dried out on the armature, so it's going to, you know, tarry and pick up with the brushes, and eventually it's not going to work. So, and just to prove a point, you know, you see all the gunge in there, look, just dripping out. And I mean, this starter's been off a while, look, even right up your end to on the brush gear, look, you know, it's pretty good there, like, with the brushes, but the brushes themselves, which we're not going to see very well, the brushes there, look, and I've got the spring just trapping the brush, stop it from fucking going back in. But when I was pulling them out, they got a film of oil on them, so it wants a bit of a wash, and yeah, just to give it a squirt out with brake cleaner, and not wash so the armature gets wet through with fluid, but yeah, give it a good drying off, and certainly wash the armature so it's all nice and clean. And like I say, the starter always worked okay, but it always dripped oil, and now I've got it to bits, you can see why. And this is the end of the casing, you see. It sits in there, and then the armature and all the bits on that shaft with your Bendix and everything on sticks out the end of it. So that's what I'm on with now, and I'm going to put that in the machine now, bore it out so we can put that in, and that'll make a, you know, another good job done, you know, another one of them little jobs that needed doing, which we never got round to. But whilst we're here, we're doing all the other bits, we might as well just crack on and get this one done as well, and then we're done. So right, catch you on the next. Right, I've just got a few more bits here done. Got the air cleaner and the breather air cleaner box. It's all yocked up there. A few additional bits there, look. So yeah, that's all fastened in. I've just got to round and paint a few of the bolt heads when I'm done, like, but and I've got to make a bracket to get that inlet pipe onto that. So that's all good, and I've also been round this side and fitted a new gasket to my oil filter. I've just got to go and find the nuts and spring washers to put on there. Still got that plate to make. Exhaust is on, look, all bracketed up, and it just stands up there. So we're cracking on fairly well now. So I didn't get to lift the radiator on last night like I said I was going to. It's still there. We got a bit busy out the back, and time got on and we forgot all about it, to be fair. So yeah, we're getting on well. Right, so we're moving on again. Got the radiator on, all sealed up. And the bit that we didn't see before with my adapter piece, will go around the other side so we can see it better. And there's the adapter, look. I'll just move the torch again because it's not... Right, there you can see it. I like the rubber joint in here because when you've got the solid cast connections in there, flange plates, everything and every gasket got to be 100%. If you start nipping them up, the buggers will break the flanges. And with this way, like, you've got no pressure, you've got a bit of rubber in there, so and plus it's fairly serviceable as well. But anyway, so yeah, she's taking shape all together now. Still got to do that plate, but I'm struggling to find a I thought I got some stainless steel to put on there, but I ain't got a bit wide enough. So we'll view from the back. Looking down the steering wheel, look. So I'm quite pleased with that. Got the pan to put on, which I'm going to do next. I've got north wind in the doors today and it's really cold in here. I've had the fire on a couple of times, but fires cost money. But anyway, we're cracking on. Right, so we just had the starter motor to bits, and I machined the end out to put the seal in. A little bit there, look. In order to stop the oil from the bell housing and the clutch, because it all runs in oil, from going down that shaft and getting into the starter. And this one it never had a seal in it, which we knew about. But anyway, I've just bored that out, and that's housing out, and put a seal in. And I'm now just reassembling it and just popping the brushes back in. And which could be a bit awkward with one hand. But basically, just got to lift the spring up so the brush will drop in, and then, for those that don't know, so that was the torch so we can see. There you go, look. There. So now the spring sits on top of the brush, and these two wires are connected to the brush, and then it just allows any movement, should there be any, and just keeps pressure on the brush. And I'll pick up my little scriber, see if we can get a better picture on this one. I'm focusing on it. There it is, look. There's the spring, look. Basically, I can just spring that up, get on it. Okay. So again, look, it sits on top of the brush. that just pressurises the brush on the armature, just to keep everything in contact. So other than fitting the end casing on and cleaning up and painting it, we're there. And I've already got the end cap cleaned up. It's had one coat of paint and it's going to get another one shortly. So the tractor, well, other than the starter, that's pretty much all together. So the radiator's on, the fan's on, the dynamo and the belt. I've got the pulley on and painted. I've got the PTO plate put on. Now this tractor does have a winch, but I ain't got time to sort the winch out, so I'll just put a blank plate on for now. And the breather's all on, look, and the dome is on, it's all fastened up. The right away, dogs. Just getting the torch. Every spacer plate there has all been cleaned up for the starter motor, and it's had one coat of paint. Okay, so we're all done on this side. Injector pipes are all on. I painted that little pipe there, which was blue. I painted it silver just to match the others. I found a plate and a finish for that. It was on a 3-cylinder P-series pump, and the only thing I've got to do is just put a oil pressure gauge pipe on there, and that's it. The only thing that's open to the elements. I mean, it's all gasketed up. Exhaust is all on. Diesel filters on. I've still got to make up my mind what I've got to do with this return, whether to put it back in the filter there or not, or whether to take it back to tank. Just depends on how the fittings are. I've selected my fuel bowl. I've got one with a tap on it. Nice one. I'm endeavouring to put it there. So it fastens on there, right, you know. I've got to have a little adapter in there to get that to go. Then this end will go straight up to the tank, which will be sitting somewhere here. And it'll have its tap, so we can turn the tap off. So if we need to take a fuel line off or the fuel glass off, it just stops the flow of diesel. And this pipe was from when we had it on the other tractor as an L4, and it was on this side of the filter. So I'm going to put a bung in that side, and I've transferred it to this side, so guys I can redo and make the fresh system up to suit this tractor. So that's what I'm looking at, somewhere there, and a pipe out from the other side of the tank. So in order to run this, because it's gravity feed out of here and into the pump, I've only got to fill the chamber up with diesel and bleed out at the pump, and then stick a battery on and give it a whistle and see if we've got any life. So it must be blooming about 10:10 now, I think. So nearly call it a day, I think. I've got to make a bracket up from here to bolt up from there, off that housing where the original oil bath filter would have bolted onto, but it's a good bolt fixing in order to make me a plate to fasten that. So that's sort of a fairly good result. Get a nice solid plate for that. So engine wise and everything, we're pretty much on it. Like I say, I've just got the starter assembled, just got to put that cover on it, paint it and put it on. And I might just put that cover on and paint it tonight so it can go on in the morning. I've got to make 2 gaskets, one for the spacer and one for the starter. I need to make a little bracket here, and a bracket to go around the pipe, just to support the air cleaner. But as you can see, standing back, it's taking shape nicely. But if I can get a run out on it tomorrow, I should film right from the very start so we know, set it up on a tripod so you can see it all. And if it don't go, you'll see. If it does go, well, we can all jump up and down for joy, can't we? So yeah, tomorrow will be a big day then. And if that runs, then that's a major step forward. And then it'll be flat out, fitting the mud guards and the floor plates, and obviously the drums and the wheels and everything else. So still got the mud guard to do. I've been sort of putting it off because I really wanted to get all these bits sorted for this engine, which I pretty much have now. And so yeah, so I'll catch you up again tomorrow, and big day for the startup. Okay, and so this is it, startup day. So I've just took the top off and the filter out, just so I can pour some diesel on top of my filter. Okay, so now I'm going to bleed it out, and hopefully that jug will just catch that fluid. So we'll undo the tap and see. It'll just take a second. There she goes, look. Let it run for a few seconds just to just turning the tap off. Right, that's it. Have a look in there. You see, it's not just gone down a bit. Let's top it up. It's just below the outlet pipe, so it can't run out anywhere. So that's the diesel side pretty much done. Stops off, and you can probably see it on there. Look, it's just below top mark. I'll just put a little bit more in there before we start. So we're getting close, and I've just got to go down the yard and got my battery leads on, look, my starter leads. And I've just put a bit of wire on there just so I can tap it on there to start before we get too involved with wiring it up. And battery leads are all up there. So that's it really. So we've just got to go and get the battery. and when I've got the battery in, I'll come back. Okay, so we think it's going to go. If you notice there, look, we've got the cover off the end of the starter. Because I've just popped the battery on and put it on charge, thinking that the battery might be flat, but it wasn't that at all. Obviously, with having started the bits, we've just got a bit of grit or something under one of the solenoid piece or whatever, because I just poked and messed about with it, and all of a sudden it sprung into life. So, in other words, it didn't like being disturbed. So we'll have a go now and see what it does. I suppose the okay. Well, I'm going to hit it and see what it does. Okay, so I think we might have to crack some injectors off and bleed the injectors. Normally a 4270, you know, when it's all bled out and done proper, you know, it'll just fire straight up. It doesn't need no heat or anything. So we'll just crack the injectors to eliminate any air that's in there. And I'll just give another quick bleed off on the pump, as I showed you before. It's got a full stream, so it should be okay there. And that's bearing in mind that all these things and bits have been to bits and also been stood a while. So well, we've got dribbles out. So the 2 injectors. Yeah, we've got dribbles out 2, so that's a good sign. So it's still got plenty of oil on the clutch because it's slipping. Okay, so we've had a bit of a problem with the starter slipping its clutch, as you can see on the video there. So we've eliminated this bit for a little while. It's still got oil on it and needs attention, so we'll crack on with that a bit later. Bugger, missed it again. Makes me jump and I'll let go. Right, it's got smoke, so that's a good sign. So now we've got fluid out the other 2 injectors, so that's another good sign. how's that? That puts a smile on your face, doesn't it? It wasn't too much effort in the finish. Probably the starter would just behaved itself a bit more. It would gone a bit quicker, but and yeah, because this is a decompression rock cover, even though it's in the off position, that's on, yeah. You're only relying on the thickness of the gasket for it to clear the rockers. Because that's what all that noise was about, that these M2 were catching. So not too sure about that, but anyway, what I'm going to do now is I can continue now. I ain't got no oil in the gearbox, and I could just hear that sort of screeching, if you like, but not, probably that's too harsh a word, but anyway, I'll fill the gearbox up, and I must know, the other thing is I haven't got no water in. So I'll put the water in, put some oil in the gearbox. I'll just investigate the rocker cover a little bit more, and probably just put the gasket on there, sit it on the gasket, see what it does, without cramping it right up tight. Because I've still got to modify the handle on that yet. And then we'll let it run a little bit longer. Strike it on, let it run a little bit longer, and just see that everything's okay. I just hear a few sort of dry noises. But the other thing you see, with no water, the water pump's not getting lubricated either. I know it's carbon, but you know, it wouldn't take kind of to being dry too long. So another thing I didn't do is nip round here and check the oil pressure. Because I've got oil pressure gauge on there. So yeah, we'll I'll get them jobs, few jobs rounded up, and then we'll come back and we'll have another go. Okay then, so we've filled the gearbox full of oil. I've got to put the end casing on, which wasn't on, which I'll show you in a few minutes. Yeah, she's full of water. We had a couple of leaks. I had one on the rubber in my little upstand, which was just a case of tightening the clip a little bit more, and I got that one. The pump was leaking, and I just wiggled it about a bit. It seems to have stopped for a minute, so we'll have to investigate that one a bit more. Radiator seems to be okay, and I put the gasket under the rocker cover. I've only just nipped it lightly just to stop it from chattering about, but it is the difference in being right or wrong. When I can move this gadget here now, and yeah, it's should be a handle on that bit, which I've got to sort out, but pretty much that's all ready for another go. We'll go for a start up, and then I'll sort that out in a bit. Right, so the stop's off. It's a big throttle. Still got a few problems with that, but There you go. £30. I suspect it's got more than that. I don't know how good the gauge is, but I'm going to get a new one. So we'll call that a win then, shall we? I think I'll call it a big smile. I mean, a big smile. That's a nice result, and now we've got that far. You know, we can go hell for leather now and get the bloody wheels and the axle and bits and pieces on, you know, and you know, a couple of days, and all of a sudden it'll you know, take shape completely. So I've got a stop cable to fit on, which is on another tractor down the yard, and that was the bit I was going to show you. Because it had a winch, this piece is all part of the winch. So I had to go down the yard and find one of them so I could seal the end housing up to keep the oil in the gearbox and back in. So so that's okay for the road run. But like I say, well, when we get home, we will set about the winch and do that to complete the tractor. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm debating whether to do the starter or whether to leave it, just see if it'll dry out. I might have a word with somebody on that one. Well, obviously we've still got to find out whether it's charging and a few bits and pieces like that. But I'm happy with it enough now to set about and fit the fuel tank. Because you know, get the fuel tank on, that'd be a major step forward. And we have got to eliminate these and that one and turn them into some sort of, it just touches the camshaft that holds your valves down, but we don't know for what reason. I suppose it's just there to stop it from like jiggling about, if you like. It's just like a small brake, enough for you to operate it, but enough to stop it from, you know, vibrating. I would assume that's what it is. But we've got to shorten it. We've got to make it so it's Allen key style or something, so it's further in, because we're going to hit the bottom of the tank. So that hurdle's still yet to be got over. Yeah, well pleased with that. I won't rev it too hard because she's sitting just solid on wooden blocks and axle stands, and if she gets a bit of vibration on it, it's liable to slide off. But hopefully the next time you'll see it, it'll have a front axle and wheels on. I've got my new tyres coming this next week, probably from about Monday. Yeah, we're getting good. Okay, so that's going to be it for this week, and hopefully next week I can show you it nearly all back together, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've got to set about that thing, that other mud guard. It's the only thing that's not been done and painted, apart from the tank. But the tank's clean, just wants painting. And then obviously I've just got to do my piping up bit, you know, to the tank. But other than that, all is good. I didn't notice if there's any diesel coming out my leak-offs, because I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Sometimes when you put the leak-offs back into the filter, it creates air. Lots of times they go back to tank, but they get the fare better going in top of the tank as opposed to going into the bottom of the tank where you got weight of diesel on it. Again, I might have a word with somebody about that. But anyway, we're done for this week. So sit back and enjoy that one. I'm sure you will, same as what I have done. Catch you later.